Now, quite honestly guys, as much as they're a joy to watch and are visual masterpieces, if I do say so myself, it's getting a little hard using the Captain Sim 777 for all of my 777 content coming over on our other channel, which is why today's news episode focuses heavily on the airliner market within Microsoft Flight Simulator, specifically the hotly anticipated PMDG 777, a brand new 787, as well as a fantastic performance calculator for airliners made by none other than Navigraph and Simbrief, free of charge. Now, speaking of the full flight content, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out FlyBy Expeditions yet, you're missing out, folks. Some top quality, heavily edited, absolutely beautiful Microsoft Flight Simulator content is waiting over there for you guys to go check out. So please do go subscribe if you can on FlyBy Expeditions, one of the first links down in the description section of the video. Starting off then with the PMDG 777 news. Now, do keep in mind that I am a week behind on all this because I had my graduation ceremony yesterday, but if you guys haven't kept up with it, well, this is my opportunity to let you guys know. Anticipation for PMDG's Boeing 777 is looming large, and their latest screenshot added to their Facebook page only confirms suspicions further. The image on their cover photo on their social media site is that of a Boeing 777-300ER, which is the first of their 777 lineup coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's registered as November 773ER, and as you can see, it's on final approach with its leading edge devices and speed brakes extended. Naturally, the entire community now suspects that the aircraft itself, the project itself, is also on final approach. And that guess isn't too unfounded. During a development stream in March, PMDG's Robert Randazzo, who you might know as the guy who does all the press conferences as well as is the leader sort of at PMDG, mentioned that an estimated release date for the aircraft was going to be about 2 months since then. So that perfectly puts the release of the aircraft during sometime in May. He went on to say that there would be a 2-week notice before release, and many are now suspecting that the fact that this image went up on their social media channel with the fact that it's on final approach and everything could constitute that 2-week release window. Now, many have also been saying that the reason the PMDG 777 has been delayed up until now could also be thanks to the impending delay of Sim Update 15 by Asobo themselves, which a lot of people believe that the PMDG 777 seemed to have also been tied to, and with Sim Update fortuitously having been released just a couple days ago, many in the community seem to be suggesting that the PMDG 777 might be closer to release than some others might think. But once again, there's more, guys. There was an apparent leak from PMDG which revealed even more images, screenshots, as well as snippets of the official manual documentation to be released with the aircraft, all of which further adds to the excitement, and that we'll be covering in just a second. But before covering all that in this video, I think I might be correct in assuming that since you guys are watching this video concerning a Boeing 777, you might be inclined to fly other long-haul routes in the sim as well, which often entail long durations where you put the plane in cruise and just kind of sit there in case you need to intervene, change up the route, your flight level, or something like that. Well, with today's sponsor, Awesome Remote, you don't have to worry about anything like that anymore. Their Windows, Android, and Mac application allows you to fully take over your sim's controls via third-party devices, including your phone, as you can see in the background right here. Now, if you do wish to learn more about the product and get a fat discount on a couple of their software services, do check the link in the description to learn more. That's Awesome Remote once again, link in the description for more details. Now then, getting back to more PMDG 777 news, as promised, a user on Reddit actually ended up finding a recent online copy of PMDG's 777 manual. The manual not only shares a handful of new previews of the aircraft itself, but it also gives a little bit more information on what we can come to expect with the 777-300ER, its new features, as well as new airframes. For example, we now know that the Universal Flight Tablet, or EFB, within the aircraft can be moved to any part of the aircraft instead of just being hooked to the side of the CDU next to the window. That will be the default position, but now it can be moved. There's also, as I said, new airframes available, supporting various different configurations from around the world so that you guys can have the most customized 777 experience that you want. There's also things like various cargo doors and so on in the aircraft giving false open indications as a result of dirt and grime, which is quite a realistic phenomena as it happens in the real 777. So all of this is simulated, and PMDG being PMDG, we also know that all failures are also going to be modeled very accurately, and all of this is pretty well laid out in the manual that was leaked by this Reddit user. Another new piece of information is that the default Microsoft Flight Simulator weather radar is also supported and included within PMDG's 777. Now, we all know the woes of the default weather radar within Microsoft Flight Simulator and how it's caused so many problems for so many people for quite some time now, and it is meant to be fixed with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but it's good to see that the PMDG 777 does come with some sort of rudimentary weather radar, albeit pretty useless, to be honest. As you can see from this screenshot over here, some initial liveries were also shown via the leaked manual, so this is what you can probably come to expect with the add-on when it's first released, but I'm sure the community will get straight to work as soon as the PMDG 777 does release, so you'll be able to fly whatever airline livery you want in any part of the world. Next up then, ladies and gentlemen, let's move from the long haul to the short haul territory. Flight Sim Studio has just gone ahead and released their extension for the E190-195 EJets Freightor series for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, this was announced back in 2023, I believe, and Flight Sim Studio had initially said that their internal tests had begun and it wouldn't be too long before you can fly this variant in the simulator. Now, what's interesting about this is that the real-world counterpart of this aircraft, aka the Freightor version of the EJets, has only recently taken off on its first test flight. So, Flight Sim Studio have said that their source data on this aircraft was quite limited, and there may be certain deviations and certain leniencies that are taken from their end in order to replicate the real model as best as possible for the simulator environment. They've mentioned that the EJets Freightor variant is similar to the current release of the E190 and 195 within Microsoft Flight Simulator, so apart from the visual differences that you guys can see in the trailer back here by my good colleague Aviation Lads, there's only slight changes to the EFB. They have modeled the cargo cabin and the main cargo door can be opened via the EFB or a special panel in the cabin as well, and once again, just like their previous rendition of the E190 and 195, a GSX configuration profile will be included in the release as well. Now, one thing that I know a lot of the community has been waiting for with this particular aircraft series is LNAV and VNAV implementation, as well as a custom FMS. Well, they're still continuing to work on that, and Flight Sim Studio has noted that this particular release will not affect the development timeline of their custom FMS in any way, shape, or form. It's only a different 3D model to provide you guys with a little bit more variety. As a result, the standalone EJets Freightor will be offered at a reduced price during the early access period, and it will also be the first EJet model from Flight Sim Studio to be available via the Microsoft Flight Simulator marketplace. The other models may also follow eventually, but so far, if you guys do want to pick this up on early access, especially you Xbox folks who are looking to maybe try out a different airliner for Microsoft Flight Simulator, can definitely check it out as well. Next up then, a new 787-8 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's discuss. A team called Bravo Aerospace have released their 787-8 for Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace for PC and Xbox this week. The Boeing 787-8 is a custom rendition of the plane, according to the developers, but will require you to have the Premium Deluxe Edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator in order to use it. Oh god, when can we actually escape this Premium Deluxe sort of gate block that is available since the beginning of the simulator for all of the add-ons that have come out, especially for the 787. I just hope somebody goes ahead and creates a custom model of the 787 that can be rid of all the issues that have plagued it for so long. Nevertheless, Bravo Aerospace has confirmed that both the General Electric and the Rolls-Royce engine options will be available with this aircraft, and are available with this aircraft actually since it has been released, with custom sound effects for both types added as well. I'm pretty sure the FT Sim sound packs will also work with this, as well as the Polystorm 3D 4K textures if you do decide to use those, considering it does use the Premium Deluxe Edition of the 787-10 with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and all of those texture packs do work with that as well. The flight dynamics are also set to be completely customized to support the shorter 787-8 variant. For those looking for more eye candy, you can explore the passenger cabin or walk up close to the external model, as there are clear and legible labels throughout. Additional camera views have also been added to make cycling through them nice and easy for you folks. Now, there's obviously tons to think about in this regard, especially if you're on PC. Specifically, what makes this any better than the freeware Kuro 787-8, for example? That's a perfectly good add-on. It's constantly being updated, and it is also being updated alongside the Horizon Simulations team, who we have all seen are very capable developers. Additionally, what are some specific things that the developer has done to ensure that the aircraft flies realistically, apart from the visual eye candy like the custom cabin and camera views? We all know that the Premium Deluxe version of the 787-10 for Microsoft Flight Simulator is a bit hit and miss from time to time. So what does this particular model do that is different, and does it fly realistically? And all of this just means one thing: a proper review flight right here on FlyBy Simulations, where we can see how all of this works. So do stay tuned for that in the upcoming days, and subscribe to the channel for more when that does come out. Finally then, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Navigraph and Simbrief's amazing new aircraft-specific performance calculator, which has now been released. The team have showcased a wonderful 6-minute video showing how both the takeoff and landing calculations for practically every aircraft and airframe in the world are now supported, with specific airframes like the PMDG 737 and the Phoenix A320 supported out of the box with custom values. Now, if you're not aware of what a performance calculator is, well, it's a way for you to calculate specific takeoff and landing values to ensure a safe departure or arrival when flying airliners specifically. This means calculating your assumed temperature on Boeing or flex temperature on Airbus, as well as the ability to use current METAR or weather data to ensure your V speeds for rotation are correct, or your auto brake settings are appropriate to ensure a safe touchdown at your arrival airport. Now, as you can see in the background right here, all of this is now supported with the Simbrief app or browser companion, with variables such as airport altitude, weather conditions, weight restrictions, runway length, which does, by the way, include intersections as well as minimum climb gradients, all taken into account to provide you with the most accurate performance calculations possible. For airliners and specific airframes, as I mentioned before, Simbrief can also take into account aircraft-specific settings, including flap positions, anti-ice and bleed settings, and derated thrust settings as well. All of this, of course, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, is free of charge as long as you have a Simbrief account, which I'm betting most of you guys already do. So nothing for you guys to worry about there. It's a new addition to the flight simulation landscape and one that is very welcome. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of our video today. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys are looking forward to the future of Microsoft Flight Simulator just like I have. Sim Update 15 has just come out and I can't wait to start making some videos on that, both on this channel as well as our second channel that I just keep mentioning because it is a pain to get a channel like that off the ground. With that all said, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.